Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Holly Robinson Peete co-hosted The Talk only in its first season. However, she is still a fan of the show and is unhappy that it is ending. After CBS announced its cancellation, the final episode will air on December 20, 2024. Yet, Holly returned to the show as a guest on Friday and had much to say about the cancellation. Here is what Holly said about the end of The Talk. Holly Robinson Peete disagrees with The Talk cancellation. Holly Robinson Peete was one of the first hosts of The Talk when it premiered on CBS. She worked as a host alongside Julie Chen Moonves, Sarah Gilbert, Sharon Osbourne, Leah Remini, and Marissa Jarrett Winokur. Remini, Peete, and Winokur left after one season, but Holly remains a fan. Natalie Morales, who serves as the moderator, mentioned Holly was one of the ogs of the show. When she asked her opinion about the show ending, Robinson Peete said she was sorry about the cancellation and then admitted that it doesn't make a lot of sense. According to TV Insider, Holly had this to say: "I did kick this show off right here on this stage, and it is really cool to see what you all have been able to do with it. I'm so sorry that you're not continuing. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's a whole other story. But at the end of the day, it's great to have been on the first show and on one of the last shows." Akbar Bayabi Amira revealed that when he got the job on The Talk 4 years ago, Holly was the first person that he called about it. "I just appreciated how uplifting you were. You were kind of motivating, pushing. I was nervous about this new opportunity," he said. "So I wanted to thank you publicly." Why is The Talk ending? It remains curious why The Talk is ending. However, ratings and viewership totals are down for all daytime talk shows. Even the biggest shows, like Today, have fewer viewers, which is reportedly making them consider cutting costs. There is even some concern that The View might make some major changes. Big contracts are coming up for renewal, and some experts suggest big cuts are also coming to that show. Names like Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar might be asked to take significant pay cuts to remain on the show. As for The Talk, the hosts have said they want to keep things positive as the series ends. Jerry O'Connell said, "Fun times. Let's have a great season." And Amanda Klutz wrote, "Love this job, the people, the crew, the audience." Holly Robinson Peete, an actress, singer, and activist with a rich and diverse career, has often found herself at the intersection of entertainment and social justice. Her outspoken nature, paired with an intrinsic drive to elevate voices often overlooked, has garnered her a following that looks to her not just as a performer, but as a passionate advocate for fairness and inclusion. So, when The Talk, a daytime talk show where Peete once sat as a co-host, faced sudden and controversial cancellation, it was no surprise that she had plenty to say. The Talk debuted in 2010, with an all-female panel that focused on a blend of current events, lifestyle topics, and human interest stories. Its format echoed that of similar shows like The View, but it quickly carved out its own audience thanks to a diverse panel of hosts, each bringing different perspectives to the table. Holly Robinson Peete, one of the original co-hosts, was an integral part of this dynamic. Along with her fellow co-hosts, Peete brought an authenticity and warmth to the show that resonated with audiences. However, Pete's journey with The Talk was not without its struggles. In 2011, after just one season, she was abruptly let go from the show. The details surrounding her exit were murky, and Peete was candid about her feelings of being unfairly treated. There were hints that her departure may have been racially motivated, especially after Leah Remini, another co-host who was also fired, suggested that Pete's removal had racial undertones. Over the years, Peete has spoken openly about the pain she felt from her exit and how it represented a broader issue of how Black women are treated in the television industry. When The Talk was cancelled in 2024 after a tumultuous few years marked by controversy and falling ratings, Peete saw the opportunity to speak out not just about the show's end, but about the culture surrounding it. Her comments were sharp, thoughtful, and deeply rooted in her personal experience, not just as a former host, but as someone who has long been a vocal advocate for fairness in Hollywood. In a social media post that quickly gained traction, Peete addressed the cancellation directly, stating that the show's end was inevitable given the controversies it had faced in recent years. These controversies included high-profile exits by co-hosts following allegations of racism and toxic behavior, most notably involving Sharon Osbourne, another former co-host. Peete, who had her own tense history with Osbourne, had previously said that Osbourne had called her too ghetto for the show, a claim Osbourne denied, but which Peete stood by. The fallout from Osbourne's departure, as well as other co-hosts leaving or being replaced, left the talk in a state of disarray that, according to Peete, made its cancellation almost a foregone conclusion. Peete's criticism wasn't just about the personalities involved. She took aim at the broader systemic issues in Hollywood that lead to shows like The Talk crumbling under the weight of controversy. This show could have been a beacon for diverse voices and perspectives, Peete said in a podcast interview shortly after the cancellation news broke. But instead, it became another example of how corporate interests and a lack of real inclusion behind the scenes can sabotage even the most promising platforms. Her comments pointed to a deeper frustration that Peete has long expressed about the entertainment industry. While she has enjoyed a long and successful career, she has also been vocal about the challenges she has faced as a Black woman in Hollywood. In many ways, her experience on The Talk mirrors the broader struggles of women of color in the industry, often praised for their talent and hard work, but easily dismissed when they become too outspoken or challenge the status quo. Peete has always been more than just an actress or talk show host. Her activism, particularly around autism awareness, her son, Ronnie Jr., was diagnosed with autism as a child, has made her a prominent figure in advocacy circles. She is the founder of the Hollywood Foundation, which provides support for families affected by autism and Parkinson's disease. Her work in this area has made her a beloved figure not just in Hollywood, but among the countless families who have benefited from her foundation's services. It is perhaps this blend of activism and experience that gives Peete's words about The Talk's cancellation such weight. She is not just another former host bitter about a show's end. She is someone who has long fought for inclusion and fairness, both in front of and behind the camera. And for her, the cancellation of The Talk is symptomatic of larger issues that have plagued Hollywood for decades. Peete's frustration with the show's cancellation also taps into a larger conversation happening in the industry right now. As streaming platforms and new forms of media continue to evolve, traditional talk shows like The Talk are struggling to find their footing. But for Peete, the show's demise is not just a matter of changing viewer habits. It's about the missed opportunity to create something truly inclusive and reflective of the diverse audience it aimed to serve. In the wake of The Talk's cancellation, Peete has called for more transparency and accountability in how these shows are produced. It's not enough to just put a few people of color on a panel and call it diversity, she said. We need real change, behind the scenes, in the decision-making rooms, in the way these shows are structured from the ground up. As Peete continues her work both in Hollywood and in her advocacy, it's clear that she won't be silent about the issues she sees in the industry. The cancellation of The Talk may have closed one chapter in her life, but her voice, outspoken, bold, and rooted in a deep desire for fairness, remains as powerful as ever. In many ways, the end of The Talk has given her yet another platform to advocate for the change she has long championed. And for those who have followed her career, it's clear that Holly Robinson Peete will continue to push for that change, no matter the obstacles in her way. What are your thoughts on The Talk ending on CBS? Will you miss the show? More so, do you think it could have gone a few more seasons? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.